Hi, everyone. Good evening. I want to welcome you for this evening's meeting. My name is Betty Oloo, and it is my pleasure once again to welcome you to Thursday evening distributor training. As always, our aim is to give value to you through product and business knowledge. And from wherever you are hearing us, whether you are here on our continent in Africa or you are in the diaspora and other parts of the world, you are very, very welcome. And as we are now heading for month end, I'm sure that today's topic will be relevant. Although when I was preparing it, I was thinking that schools are closing and month end is upon us, so many of us are probably having quite a hectic time. But nonetheless, since we are interested in good health, then this is a very important topic that I think we shall be finding quite useful to know more about. As you might have seen in your invite, my topic for today is rest and sleep. And just to begin, I would like to point out that rest is not necessarily doing nothing. It means taking a break from our ordinary activities, of which maybe some of us have daily activities that require a lot of physical motion and action, while others of us have got fairly sedentary occupations. Whatever the case, it is good for us and for our health to take some time out in order to refresh ourselves and regain our physical and mental vigor. So rest should include activities that require either less or different types of input from our daily activities. Sometimes we can opt for very active or very passive means of rest, depending on what has been going on in our lives or what goes on in our daily life. So rest and sleep are not the same thing. So when we speak about rest and sleep, we are actually speaking about things which are related but not identical. So during rest, we can actually be active. So for example, if let's say that I do a lot of sports, then my resting will be doing less, maybe doing more passive things like watching the sport so that I get some ideas from actually watching others. If, let's say, for us distributors, we spend a lot of time talking, then resting might mean that we spend more time listening, and we could listen to recordings by distributors or by world leaders or by motivational speakers and so on. So that could be our way of resting. Whatever you choose, it should be something that is different from your daily activities. On the other hand, when we look at sleep, sleep is a mind-body state in which our senses are detached from our environment. The reason why we need to be detached, to have our senses detached from our environment, is that we need a regular break from collecting data from our environment and also processing it. Because all the time when we are awake, we are getting input from our environment, we are seeing things, we are hearing things, we are feeling things. All this we receive through our senses, and this is then sent to our brain, which processes the information and interprets it for us. So when we sleep, this mechanism is put on hold so that we are able to take a break from it, and for some very important reason that I'll mention in a little while. So sleep is not only necessary for a healthy lifestyle, it is actually one of the best healthy performance enhancing activities. So I'm sure many of us have heard of things that people take that are called performance enhancing substances or formula. Sleep is one of the best and most effective ones. So if we are looking for, maybe we've been feeling a bit subpar and not performing as well as we'd like, we should actually look at how well our sleep is. With that also, most of us ordinary people, we require 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night, A very small fraction of human population can do with as little as 4 hours, but for most of us, less than 7 already begins to have detrimental effects on our body systems. So in order to get into this, I want to speak about what is normally referred to as sleep hygiene. So when we think about hygiene, we normally think about cleaning and making sure that our environment does not contain any disease-causing microbes. But when we speak about sleep hygiene, we are speaking about making sure that our environment is conducive to good sleep. And we shall shortly be also speaking about what good sleep comprises of. So in sleep hygiene, we consider a number of points, of which I want to mention. The first one is darkness. Darkness is important for sleep. And it is a good practice to switch off our screens and other such devices 2 hours before we expect to be sleeping. This also, if we find that maybe we stay in a place where there's a lot of light in the environment, we can look for ways to make the place where we sleep dark by considering the type of curtains we have on our windows. We can also consider using, some people use eye patches to cover their eyes so as to put themselves in darkness. So this is because darkness is important for good quality sleep. Then the next one is silence. Silence, of course, is also important, but again, it's not always possible for us to maintain silence. So one of the things that we can do to improve the silence part of our sleep hygiene is either to use earplugs where applicable, or we can use white noise. So there are some apps that come in the phone or that you can buy that make a dull background noise, which helps to drown out any sudden noises that might be in the environment, which can disturb your sleep. So that is just to say that silence is quite important, but if we are not able to achieve it, there are ways in which we can mitigate for the lack of silence in order to improve the quality of our sleep. Another thing is stimulants. So there are many kinds of stimulants that we can take that, unfortunately, while they may help us to be wakeful during the day, may interfere with the quality of our sleep. For example, for some people, it might be coffee. For some people, it might be even certain kinds of tea or cool drinks. So if you find that maybe after using something, it is interfering with your sleep, then it would be a good thing to avoid taking them, especially late in the day as we move towards the end of our day. Then another thing I wanted to mention is alcohol. Because alcohol may be initially relaxing so that one feels relaxed after maybe taking a drink or two, but unfortunately it can seriously impair the quality of our sleep. So if we have sleep problems, it would be a good thing to consider either our intake or the time at which we take the alcohol. So just to point out that passing out from taking alcohol is not the same as sleeping. It's more in the line of being knocked out by a drug. So even though someone who has been drinking a lot may seem to be sleeping deeply, they are actually not getting the good quality sleep that we are after. And then finally, in sleep hygiene, I also wanted to mention the circadian rhythm. This is the system our bodies have developed with, where we stay awake during daytime and we sleep at night. So human beings are not nocturnal creatures. We are actually diurnal creatures. That is, creatures who are active during the daytime and asleep at night. But from the time when we were able to find ways of providing ourselves with light after dark, we have become more and more active at night. But this also can be something that is detrimental to us, especially if we keep very late hours, because our work maybe flows into after hours. So as much as possible, we work together with our system, and that is by following our circadian rhythm, by being awake during the day and asleep at night. And another thing that can help is making sure that we don't let the waking hours run into the sleeping hours, or the sleeping hours to run into the waking hours. So for instance, maybe during the weekend, we might be tempted to sleep in later and sleep for maybe, let's say we sleep until mid-morning. But unfortunately, what will happen is that it's going to interfere with our rhythm so that at night, we may struggle to fall asleep at the usual time. So a good sleep hygiene practice is to watch that circadian rhythm and try to be awake during daylight hours and asleep during the hours of darkness. Of course, some of us will be having shift work, which makes it impossible to do this. And so the best we can do is to try to get as much sleep as we can during the time when we are off work. But shift work is actually one of the things that health practitioners recommend, that if you are able to change your occupation, actually, if you're a shift worker, it would be a good idea to do so, because it is that much detrimental to you to be awake during the time that you're supposed to be asleep. Then I wanted to describe what goes into a good sleep cycle. So sleep is not just a uniform state of being unconscious. It actually has stages, and a good sleep cycle has got 4 stages, and each after the 4 stages, it repeats itself again. And on any given night, we should have the cycle repeating itself between 4 and 6 times. Each four-stage cycle lasts around 90 minutes. So that means that if we repeat it 4 to 6 times, we are going to get that about 7, 8, 9 hours. So the first stage 1 of sleep is called the light sleep. This is the brief stage that occurs just as we are falling asleep, when our heart rate begins to drop, our breathing slows down, and our muscles start to relax. So that is called light sleep. We easily wake up if we are woken during, let's say if there's a noise or something, we easily wake up because we are not yet quite into deep sleep. So, but it is the initial stage of our sleep, and it is important because it alerts our bodies to start slowing down and getting into sleep. Then the second stage is called deep sleep, when the heartbeat continues to slow down, the body temperature drops, and our eyes stop moving in their socket. So when we are in light sleep, you may find that the eyes are still moving in the socket. If you look at a baby, for instance, when they're going to sleep, then when they are in light sleep, you can see that the eyes are still moving around, although their eyes are closed. You can see the eye movements inside the sockets. So in deep sleep, we find that the eyes stop moving, and the temperature of the body starts dropping, and also the heartbeat continues to slow down. Then the third stage is called the slow wave, or the delta stage. In this, we have the deepest sleep, and during delta sleep, it is hard to wake up, and it is a very, very important stage of our sleep cycle, because during this stage, 3 very crucial things happen. The 3 are: the body starts to repair the damaged tissues because we are finally relaxed and at rest. And number 2, the immune system is rejuvenated during deep sleep. And number 3, and very important, the brain gets cleaned up. Remember that our brains are awake and alert, processing information the whole time, and processing all the data that we are receiving from our environment. So when we get into deep sleep is when our brains can actually do the work of cleaning itself up and removing some of the things that have actually been found to be connected to some adverse effects on us. And then the last stage of sleep is called the REM sleep, or rapid eye movement sleep. During the REM sleep, this is when we have dreams, and there is a rapid movement of the eyeballs beneath our eyelids. Our eyes will still be closed, but the eyeballs will be moving rapidly under the eyelids. Our limbs are temporarily paralyzed during REM sleep, and body temperature and brain activity start picking up. So in this stage, our limbs are still in a state of paralysis, not able to move, but we start coming out of the deep sleep. So that is a fourth cycle. So after the fourth cycle, we might become more or less awake. Maybe some people even wake up altogether and then go back to sleep and start a new cycle. So what should happen in good sleep is that we go through the 4 stages over and over between 4 and 6 times each night. And we should total getting 7 to 9 hours, which would be enough for us to have got a good night's sleep. So then let's move on to the negative effects of sleep deprivation. I always sympathize with parents of newborn children or young children, because I found that in the course of motherhood, parenthood, this was one of the things that was very difficult to deal with, the sleep deprivation, because a lot of time the child might not be able to sleep or might have slept during the day and keeping you awake. So this is a real thing for many who have got young families, that they struggle to sleep. But it is important whenever possible to prioritize sleep. But definitely to understand that sleep deprivation has got some negative effects on us. I want to mention a few of them. The first is that sleep deprivation reduces our ability to concentrate and to focus our attention. So, for example, if we want to do something that requires concentration or some serious attention, we may have a hard time if we have not slept well. And I'm sure many of us have noticed this. For example, in student days, you may have spent a very long time in the nights studying for the exam, and then when morning comes and you go for the exam, you are not quite as alert as you should be. And I've even heard of people who slept and were late for the exam for which they were preparing. So we just need to be aware that sleep deprivation can affect our ability to concentrate. And if we do work that requires high concentration, it makes it even more important that we take care of our sleep hygiene and sleep quality. Okay, just a side note, if we have more than 20 hours of being continually awake, it impairs our mental clarity as much as being slightly drunk. So that is the seriousness of it, that if we stay awake for 20 hours plus, then we might be in the same mental clarity as someone who has got quite a lot to drink. And that means that if we are operating machinery that requires attention, or that are dangerous, or where we are responsible for the safety of ourselves and others, being awake for so long can actually be problematic. Then the next point I wanted to make is that sleep deprivation can lead to what is called microsleep. This is if we are very sleep deprived, then for a brief period, our mind switches off just to take a break, and it is called a microsleep. And this is very dangerous. If, for example, you are driving, you can find that you are in an accident because just for a very brief period, a few seconds, you actually dived into some serious sleep. By the time you wake up, something bad might have happened. So microsleep is actually another dangerous thing that comes from sleep deprivation. And then, of course, we know, especially if we have raised children, that sleep deprivation also affects moods negatively. So we may find that we are more short-tempered or impatient when we have not slept well, or we may find that we overreact to things which normally we would be able to handle quite easily. So sleep deprivation will also affect the quality of our frame of mind or our mood. If we habitually are sleep deprived, it has been linked to weight gain. So if we are trying to maintain a healthy weight, remember we had the session last Thursday, which I didn't quite finish the Q&A, but one of the things is that habitual sleep deprivation has been linked to problem in maintaining a healthy weight and in gaining weight. So sleep health, this is because there are certain hormones that are related to stress that can actually prevent us from keeping our weights healthy. And then, of course, many of our body systems will deteriorate if we are deprived from sleep habitually or for a prolonged period. And some of the ones that we have mentioned before will be the ones that I'm speaking about, where we find that little things start going wrong and eventually bigger things start going wrong. So before things start going that wrong, it is important that we pay attention to the quality of our sleep. Then what are some of the benefits of good sleep? I'll mention a few. The first that I wanted to mention is it gives our brains the opportunity to eliminate toxins which have been linked to certain mental illnesses. For example, Alzheimer's has been linked to certain toxins that accumulate in the brain. And so by giving our brain the opportunity during deep sleep to clean itself, we would be mitigating against some of these adverse effects. Then also, another benefit of sleep is that it leads to higher productivity, creativity, and energy. So if we are in a creative field or we find that we want to be very productive people, as all of us distributors and guests, we'd like to be productive because we want to make our time count and we want to go out there and make a positive difference in the world. We cannot afford to be sluggard and sluggish. What we need to do is make sure that we get good quality sleep so that when we are awake, we are alert and we are able to deal with things effectively. Then, of course, better mood and coping ability is another benefit of good sleep. You have had people say that they'll sleep on a problem, and when they wake the next day, they find that actually either they have found a solution or they are able to work out a solution because they have had a good night's rest and their brains are able to function with greater vigor and speed. Then adequate rest and sleep also improves the quality of our skin, and it also aids in wound healing. So these are some of the effects. There are many more, I'm sure, that you will be able to come up with or to find. Then I want to spend the next minute speaking about some of the products in Neolife that we can use to enhance the quality of our sleep or to enhance the quality of sleep for the people who are within our circle of influence, maybe ourselves, our families, our customers, and so on. The first one that I wanted to mention is magnesium, which helps to improve the deep sleep part of the cycle. So if you are one of these people or you know someone who is complaining of not being able to get into deep sleep so that they are properly rested, then magnesium actually helps in that. They can take it because now on the market, we have, I think on all of our markets, we've got magnesium as a standalone supplement, or we can take it as CalMag. So this magnesium also helps in muscle relaxation and thereby helping us to fall asleep and then, of course, to stay asleep and get into deep sleep. Then aloe vera plus is another one that helps in relaxation, and it is also a tonic for our digestive system because sometimes people are kept awake by tummy problems, like maybe you have a problematic digestion, or maybe some foods give you trouble like gas or bloating and so on. So aloe vera plus will help in relaxation, and it will also soothe our digestive system. We can take a shot of it around the time we are heading for bed, and it is going to assist. Then not all markets, but in some of the markets, we have got herbal rest and relax. Unfortunately for us here in Southern Africa, we no longer have it. But wherever you have herbal rest and relax, it is made of is a preparation made of herbs that helps to moderate our anxiety, assist relaxation, and help us to maintain sleep. Because some people don't struggle to fall asleep, but what happens is that they struggle to stay asleep. So as I mentioned, our sleep is cyclic, that after each of the 4 stages, we come up a little bit. So the best thing is if we are able to just come back either very briefly or not become completely awake and then go into the next cycle. But for some people, maybe because of a problem they are having or they are anxious or something, when they come up in the light sleep, they come completely awake and they struggle to get back into the sleep cycle. So with herbal rest and relax, the herbs will help with that. Then NutriShake or Neolife Shake are also important because they provide us with a range of amino acids which help our brains to make certain chemicals that assist in maintaining our circadian rhythm, the rhythm of sleep and waking. So NutriShake can also help with that. If maybe as a result of our work or something that has been going on, we have gone out of cycle so that we spend long hours in the night awake, and then during the day we find that we are groggy or sleepy, then NutriShake may help us to go back, rebuild our circadian rhythm, which is always very important. And then finally, I wanted to add there N, which helps in the tissue renewal which occurs during deep sleep. Because remember, I mentioned that during deep sleep, our tissues are being healed, wounds are being healed, and so by having N in our supplementation, as you know, N is one of our base supplementation that we recommend that everybody should be on N in addition to anything else they might add. So N plays that important role of maintaining the health of our cell membranes. And by maintaining that health of our cell membranes, it has a cascade of good effects on our health. So I think those are some of the products that I would recommend for helping us with sleep. But I would just like to leave you with, I know that sometimes we think of sleep as a time when we are doing nothing, and we might be tempted to put off our bedtime further and further ahead. What I would recommend is that we set an alarm for bedtime, so that we set an alarm that that rings when we are maybe half an hour from the time we mean to go to bed, so that we know that we should be winding up and then heading for bed. And we set another alarm for waking up, and we try to stay within those hours. Initially, if you have been having sleeping problems, it might be difficult. But as you go on with the discipline of waking up on time and going to bed on time, you will rebuild that rhythm of sleeping and waking. And I think it will reflect in the quality of your productivity during your waking hours and your ability to rest during the time that you should be resting or sleeping. So I see my time has run out. I want to thank you very much for your attention and your time this evening. It is, as always, a pleasure. And I hope that the information that I've shared with you is going to play an important role in your business and your personal life, as well as that of the people whom you influence. I thank you very much. I want to hand you over now to Pascal, who is standing by and ready to take you through the next session, which, as usual, is about building your business and going out there to look for people who are also looking for our business, because we do know that there are people who are looking, and if we meet the person who is looking, it is always a perfect storm, because we can show them what we have, and they, with our help, can benefit from it. Thank you very much. Here is Pascal now.
Thank you very much, Betty. Of sleep and rest, that I approve of entirely. Yeah, so what I want to discuss with you this evening, friends, is two things that are very important in our business. Because remember, we've started a business, and what did a business do? A business provides a service or a product to the public in return for the money that we are paid. That is simply what a business is. So what are we providing to the public? We provide to the public first-class products. Number two, we provide an opportunity for people to become financially independent. Those are the two things we provide in our business. But you see, to be able to earn good income in our business, let me just share the screen with you so that we can discuss. We can share with you what we think is important in building this business. Two things I want us to discuss today. One is called building structure, and number two is your daily success habit. Now, why is it important to build structure? The first thing we need to know is we need to know why we are building structure, because it is what pays us the most in our marketing plan. The marketing plan that Neolife has is called breakaway system. That means we are paid for building other directors in our team or in our group so that we can become more successful. How do you build the correct structure in our business? You build the correct structures by, let me backtrack a little bit and mention something that when I was new in the business, I didn't quite think about it or realize, but I only began to see the importance of it as we grew in the business. You always need three kinds of success lines in your business. Three types of people you need in your business for your business to succeed. One are the people who join the business just to use products. Two, people who join the business and they sponsor one person after every 3 months, 4 months. They really don't want to build a large organization to earn $5, $10, $15, $20,000 a month. Those are the three kinds of people you will get in our business. And the book says some will give you 30-fold, some 60-fold, some 100-fold. So you will get that split in our business. You know, when your business is not growing, you always wish that you're able to sponsor real leaders or people who will look at the business, see it, and run with the business and set themselves on fire with enthusiasm and build a large organization. If you get 4 people like that in successively, your business is imbalanced. Why? Because those people will shoot to become directors before you become a director yourself. And remember that in our business, you cannot use your downline's director volume to qualify as a director. You need your own separate volume of 4,000 PV so that you can benefit from the people in your group. It's very important to note that. Now, what are the 2 most important things about building structure? 2 important things about building structure is building width and building depth. What is building width? Building width are the people you sponsor directly under yourself. For example, if this month you sponsor 4 people, we say you're 4 wide. Okay? So the first thing you need to do is build width. When you've built width, you need to remember why you sponsor people in the business. You sponsor people in the business to build directors. That is really your goal in the business. You sponsor somebody so that you can help them become directors. That is why in this business, you only succeed if the people in your group have succeeded. Otherwise, there's no deal. So, first step, build width. The idea is you need to go 4 to 6 wide as quickly as possible. That means if you start the business to this month, July, the next few months, you need to sponsor 4, 5, 6 people very, very fast. How do you do this? You do this by getting involved in income-producing activities. That is talking to people. Step number 1, build a name list of 100 people or no. Step number 2 is learn how to invite people. Learn to ask the right questions. Okay? Step number 3, show the plan of those interested. Step number 4, follow up and close. Okay? The fortune is in the follow-up. So you do the 4 basic things to build width. But once you've sponsored people personally, the next thing is you help them sponsor others. That is called building depth. Okay? And the idea is each leg you need to go 12 to 14 deep. Why is that important? You need to go 12 to 14 deep so that you can have a stable leg. Work on the taproot. Taproot means the lowest level of each leg that you're building. Then teach each person that you sponsor to go as wide as you have. An important thing is work with the willing. Working with the willing simply means pay attention to people who need your attention. Because not everybody is going to need your attention. Not everybody asks you questions about how to build a business. So work with the willing. So the first 2 things in building structure is build width and build depth. This is a simple demonstration of how to build. You notice in our Monday meetings, we normally use this structure. What is the goal? Go 6 wide as quickly as possible. And then each of those legs go 3 deep. Eventually, this 3 deep has to go up to 12 deep so that each leg can qualify 12 months out of 12 as directors. Okay? So immediately go 6 wide, then go 3 deep in each of those legs. If you do that, that will give you an immediate director volume. Because if you look at this structure, if you count, you'll find that there's 40 people. And 40 to 60 people is a good number of active distributors to qualify as a director very easily. So go wide until you find 3 legs to work with, then go 12 deep in each of those 3 legs. That will give you a stable 1 Ruby director business. So building depth and building width. The other thing about structure is this: concentrate on what duplicates. That means that keep the business simple and you need to do what other people in your group can do. For example, you may start the business and you set yourself on fire so much that you're able to show the business to 20 or 30 people every day. That's fantastic for you because your business will grow faster. But the question is, will everybody in your team be able to duplicate what you do? So focus on what duplicates. Keep sponsoring always, because some of the people in your group are going to outgrow you. So you keep sponsoring by doing the 4 basics. Develop the right attitude, read constantly, and aim at discipline, not motivation, because motivation is temporary. Discipline is what motivation starts you on the journey to success. Discipline keeps you on the road to success. Okay? And then keep your eyes on the future, because sometimes when you talk to people, they say no, they're not interested. You begin to think that this business doesn't work. This business will work. This business follows very 3 simple principles that all farmers know. If you sow, you will reap. That's 1. Number 2, you only reap after a growing season. You don't reap immediately. Number 3, you will always reap more than you sow. Otherwise, there's no point of sowing. Okay? So you need to keep sowing. Those 3 principles always work in our business. So keep your eyes on the future and the goals you want to achieve. Don't pay attention to what your mind is telling you. You see, you can speak to 5, 10 people and everybody says no, then your mind tells you this thing doesn't work. Don't pay attention to your mind. Just keep your eyes on the goal. Keep talking to people. All right? And then you need to be accountable to yourself. That is very important, because when you're accountable, you find that you don't give excuses. And that is very important for the success of our business. Okay? That boils, before I go to the daily success habits, let's recap a little bit. Structure. Structure simply means you build your business so that you can get maximum profit from the compensation plan. How do you do that? Go wide fast, 4 to 6 wide, by doing the 4 basic things: name list, invite, show the plan, those who are interested, follow up, and close it, and close your prospect. Okay? And then how do you build depth? Once you sponsored somebody, you teach them to do what you've just done. Teach them to build a name list, teach them to invite, teach them to show the plan, and teach them to follow up and close their prospects. That's how you build depth. So the idea is to go 12 to 14 deep in each leg. Work at the taproot, which is the newest person in each leg of the business. Okay? This is a very simple structure. Go 6 wide and 3 deep very, very quickly to build a director volume, and then get 3 legs to work with. And each leg you need to go 12 deep so that these 3 legs can be stabilized as director legs. All right? Then focus on what duplicates. Keep sponsoring always, because people you sponsor are going to outgrow you. If you sponsor somebody and they're on fire, they 3 or 4 months they're directors. If that is the only person you sponsored, they become directors and you can't use their volume to qualify as a director. So you need to keep sponsoring in the business. Keep your eyes on the future, not on what is happening externally. That is why you need to have an inner vision of what you want. Okay? Daily habits. Daily habits are important. In fact, if you want to know your future, check what you do on a daily basis, because your future is hidden in the things that you do every day. Keys to success. Number 1, attitude. You need to have a reason for doing what you are doing. And that comes from reading constantly and listening to good material. Then the next thing is build your skills. You need to know how to build a business. How do you invite? How do you build a name list? How do you show the business? How do you do a health seminar? How do you build a team and lead people? Then you need knowledge about the products, about the compensation plan. You need to know yourself, know why you are doing the business, and keep your attention to the future. But what are the specific daily habits that you need to have to really grow a good? In fact, this business, the company is the same. Neolife is the same worldwide. The products are the same. The marketing plan is the same. What makes the difference between somebody who is a director and somebody who is a president's team member? The only different factor is you. You are the only thing that is between a distributor who just started and somebody who is a president's team. So the question is, what do you do on a daily basis to grow as a leader and become a successful person? The first thing you need to know that success begins with a decision. You have to decide. This morning I like to listen to audio tapes on YouTube about success. And the one that caught my attention is Eric Warren said that success begins when you really make a decision. When you decide that not your success lines, not your leaders, not the company, not the compensation plan, nothing else is responsible for your success except you. Once you come to that realization and decision, nothing will stop you from becoming successful. So you need to realize that success depends entirely on you. Your success leader is going to help you, yes, but they're not the one responsible for your success. Your success depends on you. So a few things I would recommend that you do on a daily basis. Number one, you need to read to expand your knowledge about the products, about the marketing plan, how to become a leader, how to set goals. You need to read every day. I would recommend between 15 and 30 minutes every day, read a good book. Readers eventually become readers. Readers eventually become leaders because they know more than others and they're able to lead people to have a better life. The second thing you need to do is you need to get involved in income-producing activities. Show the business to new faces every day. Even if you don't show the business to new faces, call 2 or 3 new people every single day to introduce them to the business. This is what income-producing activities are. And that is what actually makes your business grow. Your business doesn't grow when you read a book. Your business doesn't grow when you do training about the product. All those things support your business, but the thing that makes your business grow is you show the business to new faces. The third thing you need to do is to exercise. Get yourself into the exercise habit. It may not be something serious. 30 to 45 minutes. Walk, run, lift weight, do something to activate your body. You see, when you sit in a bus or a plane or a car for a long period of time, you feel very exhausted. Why do you do so? And you actually have not been doing anything. You've just been sitting. It's because our body was made to move. And when we don't move, we begin to feel tired. Okay? So you need to exercise every day. When you exercise, you activate some of your hormones that makes you feel very healthy, feels you very excited and enthusiastic about life. And it also gives you longevity. Number 4, if you have a job, give your employer the best you can. So that the day you leave your job, your employer will know that they've lost somebody very worthwhile in their business. So give your employer, if you have a job that is, give your employer your best. If you're doing the business full-time, let this business be your employer. I want you to develop the attitude that if you're late in your appointment, it's as if you're late for going to work. You see, when people are late and they're working for a boss, they actually run to the place of work. You need to do the same with your business. Okay? You need to set a time when you're going to start talking to prospects, set time when you're going to speak to your distributors or do training. Number 5, you need to allow for family time, because I don't think or believe that we should sacrifice our family on the altar of financial success. All right? You need to have family time on a daily basis. Have time to catch up with your family members, get to know what they do, what they have been going through during the day, what are their dreams, their visions, their challenges, their worries, their sorrow, so that you know who your family members are. Number 6, review your goals every day. By that I mean read your goals, visualize your goals, review them on a daily basis so that they are at the forefront of your mind. When you get negative thinking people, your mind is already so saturated with your goals that what negative comments that people have doesn't bother you. 7, keep your eyes on the future. Okay? If you keep your eyes on the future, you will go through challenges. You see, challenges appear much more difficult when we don't have a goal. But when you have a goal, the challenges are part and parcel of your growth to becoming successful. So have your eyes on the future, and that comes from having a vision for the future. For example, in a year's time, if you've just joined the business, how many people do you want to have in your team in a year's time? 100, 200, 500, 1,000? What is your vision? How many people do you want to have in your team in a year's time? If you've got a goal to go to Istanbul, how many people in your team do you want to carry along to go to Istanbul with you? You need to be able to see this in your mind. If you do these simple things on a daily basis, these things will become a habit. And don't do things because they feel good. Do things because they have to be done. That's where discipline comes in. Motivation comes and goes. Motivation is like taking a bath. You take a bath every day. I agree, to be clean. But if you really want to become successful, is you have to do the things you need to do on a daily basis until they become automatic, until they become a habit, so that you do it almost without thinking. Because that is the nature of our business. You need discipline to be able to succeed. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are the few things I wanted to share with you, just to give you an idea of what we need to do to grow our business. The first one is we need to learn how to build a structure. How do you build a structure? 2 things: building width and building depth. Building width are the people you sponsor immediately. Building depth is helping the people you've sponsored to sponsor others. Then pay attention to things that duplicate easily, and then pay attention to your daily habits. If you pay attention to your daily habits, everything will fall into place. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all very much for spending this evening with Betty and myself. I know Paul is somewhere on transit back to Nairobi, so he won't be able to close the meeting for us. I would like to thank all of you for attending this session with us. And the month is not over yet. There's still 4 or 5 more days of hard work to achieve your goals. So go after your goals. We say in our business, it's not over until it's over. So thank you very much, all of you, for attending this session with us. Good night and God bless you.